Good evening. Good evening. This is the Couples Academy show. Actually, it's the Ask the Expert show. I'm Jeff Witt, and
I'm Lakeisha Hines.
all
And
right,
this is Ask the
welcome.
Experts.
Pretty much, Ask the Experts. All right, people, we are live today. I'm a little tired, so you got to bear with me, but we need questions. But I do want to remind people there is only a couple of slots left. I think I don't even know. I don't want to lie. But there's a few slots left for Last Chance Weekend coming up on February. Valentine's Day weekend, the 11th through the 13th, still gives you your Valentine's Day, but it's going to be a great event. What better way of celebrating Valentine's Day than putting your marriage back together?
Exactly.
That would be where you need to be. So I'm going to show you guys that commercial real quick while you get your questions together, and we'll be right back. All right, that's Last Chance Weekend. Remember, we got a few slots left. Go to the link below, and that's where you can sign up. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Let's get started, Lakeisha. Do we have any questions?
All right.
I think we have one. Shalise, welcome, Shalise. How do I help my husband deal with his pain as the betrayer? Am I the person to help him? You can support him. Helping him, maybe. The key here is going to be that he gets some kind of support at all. But really, like, the biggest problem with him being the betrayer and you being so supportive is what's really going on there as far as his pain. Like, I know that you've asked this question a different way before, but for some reason this feels a little different. Lakeisha,
Well, hold on one second. There's another part of it also.
Okay.
She says, I know he is not together. He has lost interest in his entrepreneurial ideas, lost connection spiritually, and can't talk about his regret and shame. Am I the wrong person to support since I am the reminder of his pain?
It's very possible. Shame, blame, and guilt. Listen, I'm gonna. There is a video by Brene Brown. It is available. It should still be available on Netflix, and it's just about that topic. Maybe you can get him to watch that with you. It's amazing. It's about guilt, blame, and shame. And she is an amazing psychologist who's put together an amazing. Like, her books are just out of this world as far as the subject goes.
Yeah,
But she's a beast, right?
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is, and this is seriously not a pitch, because I just believe in it so much. The guys who've gone through the program, whether it's through Couples Academy, the guys I've been working with in the last 10 years, when you're talking about someone's lost their entrepreneurial spirit, someone who's lost their spiritual, emotional power, that's exactly what we deal with. We deal with all four quadrants. We start with spiritual because you need to have a sense of who you are in relationship to your creator and the rest of the world. We deal with the emotional because we need to be able to balance our own emotions and be emotionally intelligent with the people that we're surrounded by. We need
Mhm.
to get back and get some energy. So we got to get physically fit. I'm on my biggest fitness quest ever. I work out 14 hours a week right now. And it's grueling. That's why I'm tired today. And then last but not least, we work on the finance. Now, me owning 8 businesses can definitely help him get his motivation back. And, all of us here are here to support that vision. And so if you can get him into the Foundry program, which I believe is either starting the 3rd week of February or March, we spend a lot of time on body, being, balance, and business. That's what we do. Body, being, balance, and business.
Mhm.
And definitely deal with the relationship stuff as well, because that's the focus. If your balance or your spouse and your home and your kids, that's what we consider our balance, that other half of us. If we can't get that in line, then we are nothing. So everything is built to support that from all 4 quadrants. So we're not just working on the relationship and then going back to our crappy life. We're going to create better human beings so that they can build better relationships.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is you can't want it more for him than he wants it for himself. And I definitely agree with you, Jeff. He has to get back to himself. I think that happens a lot in relationships though, right? Where we kind of lose ourselves because we are so immersed into our spouse or our kids or just that whole family dynamic. And the Bible tells us that the two shall become one flesh. So that needs to happen, but you also have to be balanced, right? You cannot completely turn away from the things that made you you in the first place, because that's what made that person fall in love with you, right? So him moving away from the ideas that he once had and losing that spiritual connection, those are all for me red flags, because that's what gets a lot of couples in trouble, right? When they actually lose sight of their goals and their dreams and aspirations, and definitely when they lose that spiritual connection. To me, that's very dangerous. So, as I said, you cannot want it more for him than he wants it for himself. You are there to support. I do agree with that, Jeff. Yes, you should support, but he also has to reach out for the help that he needs. And I don't know if he's ready. I mean, I see that you have asked this question
I think he's lonely, and I'm
a
not talking
few
about the
times.
lonely. I don't think he's lonely in the type of way that companionship. I think he's a lonely inside of his own world, and to be honest, what that requires is we have this rule that I push with all the guys. This rule one. First rule is I only listen to people that have what I want and been where I've been. When I'm surrounding myself with other people, like other guys to be around, he might be vacant and empty in that space where there's no one motivating him to fulfill his dreams. And a lot of men have found that position. I know I got into it. That's where all of my problems in my relationship start. I lost me first, then I lost my focus. And then when I lost my focus, I started losing everything that mattered to me. So it really helps to be around people who are actually striving and thriving and achieving and becoming, you know, what it is that he wanted to be. Because then it's easy. It's easy to run with a pack. It's hard to run by yourself, especially if you're looking all around you and all you see is, I got a good wife and she's sticking by me. But now what? Now, how do I build the house for her? How do I build the family that I want? How do I get out of these financial problems? Or how do I, achieve our wildest dreams together? What next? And that's a real struggle for men. It really is, because the goal setting kind of drops. It's different. Like, you know, if I was supporting only one person, I'd probably have a Ferrari and a Lambo in the front yard. But I'm not supporting one person. I'm supporting 5 people, and what I do for myself, I got to do for them too. So now I got to have 5 Lambos. You know what I mean? It's like whatever the goal is, it's got to be 5 times because I'm supporting 5 people. You know, it's all 5 of us together in this together, and a lot of men aren't really prepared for what that is, especially if they have entrepreneurial dreams. It's like, how do I get started? Where do I begin? And you need someone to show you that path. You can't just learn entrepreneurship in school, and it's not as easy as going down to the SBA and just getting a loan. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. And so,
Well, this is my thing. Like, we can't answer if you are the person to help your husband, because right now we don't fully understand what help he needs. And so I really think that's a conversation that you need to have with your husband, to ask him, does he need your help? Does he want your help? Is he even ready for help? So we can't answer that for you. And it is clear that if he has lost interest in his ideas, he's lost his spiritual connection, and you're saying he can't talk about his regret and shame. Maybe it's not that he can't, maybe it's that he doesn't want to. So we kind of, we don't really know where he is right now. I don't know how long you guys have been dealing with what it is that you're dealing with right now. I know that you are faithful and watching the show, which we are so thankful for, and we appreciate that. But it's like, without having the full picture, it's kind of hard to give you advice. Do you know what I'm saying? And we don't fully understand what all is going on with him. I'm hearing your voice, but not really hearing his voice to know what's going on with him. So I guess my question would be, have you reached out to your husband and asked him, what does he need from you?
Pretty much.
Ralph. Oh, hey,
Ralph has a question.
How would you try and get your point across when they don't seem to want to listen or respect you for the person you are and just overlook you?
My first question is simple. Are you a person worth respecting? First. I mean, I like to just put it like it is. And the second question simply is this. Well, actually, it's not even a question. You have to understand how the brain works. And if you understand how the brain works, you'll understand why. You ever had a real logical conversation with anybody, Lakeisha, and they just shut you off? And all of a sudden you're like, wait, but everything I just said made a lot of sense.
Right.
Well, we got to understand what trauma and situations that we create in the mind. The first part of our mind, whenever we gauge in a situation, is this what we call the reptilian brain, or the amygdalic response, if we want to get technical with it. The amygdalic response is a fear trigger. Not just fear, but it does a lot more than that. It's like it's what causes us to react. So if I hear a loud bang, am I going to fight or flight, they say, but there's other things involved too. Am I really attracted to it, or is it a beautiful car that just drove by? It'll literally shut your attention down immediately and cause you to focus on something different. Now, when that happens, we then evaluate, is it a risk to us, or is it something we want to pursue? Do I want to eat it? You know what I mean? Like, if it's food, it's like, whoa, stop. Like, that looks really good. You know what I mean? We stop all of our positive thinking. The second part of the brain that comes into function is the midbrain. And this is like a comparison engine. It goes, is it smarter than me? Is it dumber than me? Is it stronger than me? Is it weaker than me? Is it, is it more handsome than me, more attractive? Like, it starts comparing. It does this in fractions of seconds, okay? And so this happens all at one time. And then we move to our neocortex. Neocortex to neocortex conversation just means that we're being logical. I'm telling you something, you're responding. What we don't realize is that when there's a trauma or any kind of upset in a relationship, that the amygdalic response, the fear response, kicks in and creates a new judgment factor and starts the whole process over again. And from the frame of that middle brain is how we see somebody. So, for instance, someone may see me as like the janitor and they're the CEO. So when they see me mopping the floor, I could come over there and have a conversation with them about nuclear physics or how to change the company. And because their frame set in their mind is that I am a janitor, no matter how logical what I say speaking to that CEO is, he saw me mopping the floor, so he doesn't even believe me. Okay? Doesn't matter how perfect my conversation is, the judgment has already been rendered that I'm not a person that he should talk to in that regard. So when you mess up in a relationship and then the midbrain of that person is now recalculating and replacing you in their mind as to where you're physically at in their power structure, so to speak. And so what you're saying when I say, are you deserving of respect? Have you aligned yourself in such a way that you can even cause a new response? So one amygdalic responses are these fear responses are not always fear-based. They don't always have to be negative. They can be wow experiences. So what wow have you created to create a realignment in their judgment of you as a human being so that you can actually have a neocortex to neocortex conversation? Boom. All right. I think that
All right. Miss K, yes, Miss K says, how do I support my husband if he is the betrayed and does not want counseling? So he is the one that is betrayed and he does not want counseling. Maybe he's not ready.
I will say this: men don't want counseling ever. Typically,
Generally,
men typically want counseling when it's too late. Just to be honest, that's when men want counseling, when they've lost something big or they think they're about to lose something big. That's typically when it happens. Getting him to that line is going to take some creative effort on your part, because I don't know enough about him. And if you study that person, maybe the best way is to start your own counseling first, so that you can show up in a different way, and so that you can reduce the amount of triggers that he's receiving on a daily basis about this. And maybe if you can get that down to show up in a different way and be someone different, maybe he will see the change in you and want to deal with those issues in a different way. For right now, shutting himself behind a rock probably feels safe.
Yeah. Also, have you guys had a conversation about why he does not want counseling? Like, I would be curious to know if you've had that conversation to ask him why he doesn't want to go. And because sometimes it's just, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. Okay. But why not?
Because men don't want counseling.
Well, it could be that, or it could have been a previous bad experience. It could be, I don't want to open that up to even talk about it. I don't know. It could be multiple reasons why he doesn't want to go. But I'm just curious to know, have you had that conversation?
I'm betting that he doesn't. He's probably thinking to himself, I'm 99.9% of guys out there like this that I know. Why am I getting counseling? You're the one that did something wrong.
Well, true.
And so I would start with you, because you can't lose that way. If you heal you, become the best version of you, then you can show up in a different way and be supportive in a way that doesn't trigger him.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely always. I mean, we can't control what our spouses do, right? And we are always saying that everybody needs to be responsible for themselves and do their individual work. So absolutely. That is definitely what I would do if you cannot get him to agree to go to counseling. JG, you love your husband very much. After his multiple infidelities, now you have an incurable STD. Is it fair to stay in this marriage? This is something that will never change. Fair. The word fair bothers me. Not because you
like fair to who? Is it
not because you used it, but like because that word I think is unfair to even use, right? Because what is fair? It's not fair that you're having to deal with the pain that you're having to deal with. It's not fair that you have an STD. It's not fair that he did whatever he did or felt however he felt that led him to stray. So we can talk about unfair items on both sides, I'm sure. But unfortunately, this is something that is lasting, something that you have to deal with every single day. So I get that it feels heavy. And I get that it is something that, obviously you didn't ask for, you didn't sign up for. But is it fair for you to stay in a marriage? I think this is the thing. You have to decide what it is that you want and what you're willing to do. That's
This is
just
a
my
question I have no way of answering. Like, um, what is an Amy? I might be like off the internet, or I don't know. I thought I was pretty hip, but
what
this
is
one,
what?
my Amy is going crazy. I have tried happening. What are the good exercises can I learn?
I do not know. Please expound.
Oh, amygdala. Her amygdala is going crazy.
Oh,
She's tried amygdalic
I'm like, what?
potentiation. We're getting really, really technical. Uh,
Listen, I'm like, maybe she has a wife. I
uh,
don't know.
so you got to explain Cassandra a little bit better because, when you're talking about happening, like I completely forgot what that was for like half a second because I haven't heard those technical terms in a very long time. But when you got to
Well, what's the
what are
goal,
the
Jeff?
triggers that are
What's the
causing you to
goal?
have these amygdalic well, she's talking about trying to like push down or suppress the potentiation is dealing with suppressing of the amygdala. So she's having a lot of
Her
triggers
feelings?
basically.
Are we talking triggers and
Yeah,
feelings?
and a lot of them are
Okay.
probably fear responses
Okay.
and phobias, and a lot of them come from PTSD. And I don't know if you're in a position based on just what I have right here. I know meditation is a huge one. I also know that confronting your fears is a huge one, but I would have to know more about the situation than just happening. So there's techniques, and a lot of people will read these techniques online of all these different techniques and things that they can do. But the strategy is based on the situation, not the random. Let's just try this and let's just try that. You know what I mean? I need more information.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Cassandra or Cassandra. I hate mispronouncing people's names. Cass. Sorry about that. Hubby. This is Evan. Evan M076. Hubby is overworking to not deal with himself and the reality of his actions, but I have chosen recovery and is healing in many areas. This has been a blessing in disguise. He wants the marriage, but not doing the work, his personal work, not doing his personal work. How
Yeah.
long? Here's the question. How long do you wait before letting go?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, men tend to change when when you let go. So if he's not doing the work, like you try to get him over to us. I mean, that's what Foundry is all about. Every day, I can literally pull up 500 posts right here where I'm like, "You're not doing the work. Do the work. Do the work all day long, every day." That's what I'm talking about. And these guys are probably sick of me hearing saying "do the work." But also, is the work defined for him? Because doing the work is so
Yeah.
vague.
Yeah.
Is he on a plan? Has he been given a plan? Has he been even given the
Yeah.
opportunity to have a plan? Something that he can do on a daily basis. Because doing the work, show up. What does that mean? If you've never had that show up experience in your life, then how do you know how to show up? Well, just be a good man. Well, what does that mean? Because a lot of people didn't grow up with good men all around them. I know I had a good father at home for the most part, but he was absentee in some ways. You know what I mean? But then a lot of the men in my life were dogs. They were running around on their wives. Even the pastors were running around on their wives. I watched 2 church splits over that. Really created a mistrust in the church since I was such a big time believer, and to watch all of that fade away as the guy that you looked up to ran away on his wife or some other woman. Like these types of traumatic events give you this sense of disorientation, and you're like, well, where do I go? What do I do? This is why I say rule 1. You have to have people in your life who have what you want and been where you've been. He has to have an example to follow. And you can't just point them to a book and say, follow that alone. That book is just an orientation process to understand the environment. But like like for instance, if you want to learn martial arts, let's say martial arts represents being a good husband, right? And all you did was watch Jackie Chan videos, you're going to come out with not much of a result as far as becoming a good husband. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
need some type of you once you go through the process of intellectualizing it and learning the information you need to learn, there needs to be a process of discipline. And that is discipleship. Discipline and discipleship are the same thing. That means that they're going to be around people who are on the same mission, on the same path, and who have accomplished what they want already. Does
Right.
that help?
So listen, this is what I'm seeing, right? I see a correlation between Evan M076 and Shalise, right? Because she is basically saying that her husband is overworking to not deal with himself, right? To not do his personal work. Shalise is saying that her husband's only focus is her pain and he's ignoring his own. He's pouring into her, but can't reciprocate because he can't talk about it. So he's drawing himself, but she's not filling him back up. Listen, it comes down to choices and decisions. We all have decisions. Evan M076 said, I chose recovery
Yep.
and am healing. So it is a conscious decision that we all have to make, that
Why
we
don't
want better than what we currently have.
I agree? Why don't we use someone who actually has been through the whole process and is actually in Foundry as we speak,
Mm-hmm.
and who I know for a fact because his wife told me he's doing amazing.
Dun 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 dun.
We're going here first.
Okay.
But then
Wait. Consistency is key. That is what he said.
he's
Consistency is
saying
key.
send them to Foundry. We
Right.
welcome them in.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is key. That's
Then
because
he
I'm
dropped
telling you,
another bomb and
all
said, who are they listening to?
that's rule one. Only people that have what I want and been where I've been. So if they say they want a better relationship, they got to deal with only people who have good relationships.
This is what I know. Let's just take exercise, for example, since Cass said her Amy's going crazy.
Look, his wife is in there sending hugs, smiles, and kisses. That
Oh,
see, when the wife comes in and shows and proves that the husband's doing the work. See, ladies, this is what you're missing. They need to be in good hands.
exactly.
Right?
Facts.
I love these two, by the way. They are just doing amazing things. And I'm so glad I actually met them, got a chance to hang with them, got a chance to work with them. And man, like Gonzalez is becoming a brother every day. Seriously. Like, because
He's
I can
already a
see it.
brother.
I can
He's
see it.
already a brother.
Well, I'm not gonna
But
give him that
listen,
yet. He got to keep doing the work. I'm just saying, he's my
oh my God.
brother.
think about, and I'm gonna pick on my ladies tonight, right? So think about that stubborn area on your body that you have not been able to get rid of, or the
You mean this one?
extra, that COVID-20 that you put on, right? That actually your husband probably loves, but you can't stand. And you've been carrying this weight around and you literally are like, oh my gosh, I'm fat, or I'm too big, or my clothes feel funny, I'm not comfortable in my clothes, I don't feel sexy, all of these things, right? And you complain and complain and complain for months and months and months, and you never stop and try to make a change, do something different, start exercising, start eating different, start getting more rest. You don't do anything different. So guess what? You're going to continue to carry the weight. So if we use that same example with these husbands who are not reaching out for support, who are not talking about their pain, they're going to continue to carry that weight. Eventually, it's going to get too heavy, and they're going to have to either put it down, or they're going to have to start working out so that they can begin to carry the weight.
Absolutely. We're like last minute here.
Oh,
And
yes, we are.
so
Oh my goodness.
I want to touch with one person real quick because
Okay.
she says her husband, don't drop his name, okay? I got you. I got you. Cassandra's saying dealing with multiple triggers due to the disclosure, it can be as simple as a song, a food, an intersection, and the route that has taken. Okay, and that hubby is in Foundry. Listen,
Mm.
I need you to give me time. I will say this. I've got 15 guys out of 20 that are doing the work, I have about 10 of those who are like overtime on the work. And sometimes they're still making we're tweaking them and trying to get them right. I don't know which one your husband is. I'm going to figure that out on my own, okay? Because I have the system and I can do that. But just give me some time. It's not an overnight process. It ain't going to be done in 12 weeks. I'm hoping he's on the right path in 12 weeks. All right. We are on week 3. And I got 1 hour a week with them. And if they're doing the work, I got every day with them. But that's only if they're doing the work. And I can't enforce that. But you can support me. You can ask him every day, hey, did you do your work today? Have you been chiming in? Have you been doing your... Ask him about what he's learning. Like, just sit back and listen. Just give me some space, Cassandra. I got you. All right? Hassani chimed in? Is that Hassani? Or is that... Oh, Ask the Experts, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I think he's calling us to go.
No, that was me.
Okay.
There was a question. Lorraine wanted to know when we come on live. And so I was letting her know, because she lives in Canada. So I was letting her know Ask the Experts is Monday through Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the Couples Academy show comes on Monday through Thursday. I'm not sure if we're doing Fridays, but Monday through Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. Okay. I am. We gotta get going. I gotta show one more commercial, and so I am gonna do that. Okay. Let me do this, and then we are out of here. So we will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, listen, guys. If you come in a few minutes early and just start asking,
not next week, tomorrow.
Oh, sorry. I'm like I said, I'm tired. I've been up since 4.
Jeff needs a nap.
Yes. And so we will see you tomorrow. And yeah, get in here early. Start asking your questions early. And I'm gonna do this in a very nice way. Some of you come on here and you ask the same question every single night. And I think we try to do our best to answer you, but I think it would be fair if other people got to ask their questions. So I'd love for you to ask a different question, a new question, or maybe even tell us what you're doing to resolve the issue after you've taken the question and the advice that was given. Mm-hmm. Because if we're giving the same advice every night and the same questions asking every night, my question then to you is, what are you doing with what you've been given? Mm-hmm. Right? So think of the parable of the talents. Right? That's Matthew 25, if you're looking. Matthew 25, it's not the first one. That's the parable of the virgins, the 10 virgins. And then right after that, it gets into the parable of the talents. Right? And so I would go look at that talent. So if you're given some information that may be of help to you and you're not using it, accountability, people. Let's get it. All right, that's it for tonight. We will see you again tomorrow. This is Ask the Experts. Like, share, subscribe. Sign up for Last Chance Weekend. Send your fellas to the Foundry if they need it. I'll beat them up for you. And Unearthed is coming up again, too. I'll let them talk about that tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, one more. Sorry, fellas. People. Outro. I'm not doing good tonight.